We'll just popping together a quick video on species counterpoints. Today specifically looking at second species. So yeah, let's just jump right in. Last time we divided up our intervals into consonant intervals, those that sound stable, those that sound nice, and dissonant intervals, those that sound unstable, those that sound harsh. And so we said that thirds, fifths, sixths, octaves and unisons were consonant intervals, and that seconds, fourths, tritones and sevenths were dissonant intervals. That distinction becomes really important when we start to look at second species counterpoints, and indeed third, fourth and fifth species, because these types of counterpoint now start to incorporate dissonance. So if we just quickly have a look at an example of first species counterpoint again, I'll just play this through. Okay, so that's the opening of Pachelbel's canon, and it's an example of first species counterpoint because it's sort of note for note. So there's every note there's one note in the top part for every note in the bottom part, and only consonant intervals are used. You can sort of see there that we've only got thirds and fifths and octaves across the whole thing. If we compare an example of first species counterpoint here to an example of second species counterpoint, we can start to see some key differences between first and second species. So in second species, we've got two notes in the top part, or two notes in the written part, against the cantus firmus, against the bottom part in this case. And now we've got dissonant intervals being incorporated in. So we can see that there's this major second here on the second beat of this bar. And when we're thinking about dissonances in a contrapuntal sense, they've got to be treated in a very particular way, and they're treated with these three rules down here. Dissonances must be on the weak beat of the bar. So in a second species exercise where we've got these sort of two notes in the given part, they need to be on the second minim. They are approached and left by step. So if we look at that dissonance there, it's on the second minim. The note before it is a step away. So we've gone from a B down to an A, the dissonance. And then the note after it is also a step away. The A drops down a step to the G. And dissonances also have to be sandwiched between two consonances. So we've got a major third on just before the dissonance and a perfect fifth just after the dissonance. So we've gone from consonants to dissonance to consonants. Those are the key rules for the treatment of dissonance in second species counterpoint. And indeed, those are the key rules for the treatment of dissonance in quite a lot of tonal music. In quite a lot of music, you'll see that dissonances are often on weaker places in the bar. Dissonances are typically approached and left by step and are also sandwiched between two consonances. So keeping that principle in mind is not just useful within a counterpoint exercise context, but also really, really useful if you're thinking about more extended chords and how you incorporate those more extended chords into your writing. So just quickly to recap some of the other differences between second species and first species. We've got those two notes on the top, but actually the rest of it is more or less the same. So all the other rules still apply. We still need to try to avoid parallel fifths and octaves. We still should try to end with a perfect cadence. We should try to kind of use mostly stepwise motion. All of those things are the same. So here's what we're going to do. I'm just going to quickly pop the rules up. These are the rules that you're going to... these are the key rules for second species counterpoint. So when you're approaching a second species counterpoint exercise, you're writing 2 minims per bar. You must begin with a minim rest. It's something to do with the exercise, and it's just to kind of set up basically some movements between the top and the bottom part, and it gives you it sort of helps distinguish between the two parts. Then we've got these 3 rules for the treatment of dissonance, which I've sort of highlighted in red. Dissonances must be on the weak beat of the bar, dissonances must be approached and left by step, and dissonances must be sandwiched between 2 consonances. We don't want any parallel fifths or octaves, and ideally we don't want any repeated notes in the top part, or really in the part that you're writing. So you should try to avoid repeated notes, so like 2 E's next to each other, 2 G's next to each other. So what you might want to do now is have a go at writing a response to a sort of a second species exercise. I've given you the bottom part here, and here you'd be writing the top part using the rules at the bottom of the screen. You might want to pause the video here and give that a try, and then we'll go through a sample answer. Okay, cool. So hopefully that was fine. I've popped a sample answer up on the screen, and I might just play it through at the piano so you can see what it sounds like. So there you are, not the most exciting music in the world, and to be fair, that's probably also not an ideal solution. It's a pretty good solution. It follows all the rules given, but again, there's probably sort of other solutions out there. If I say probably, there's certainly other solutions out there. But the key thing is that we've got these 2 minims in the top part. We haven't got any repeated notes. We don't have any parallel fifths or octaves between the top and the bottom part. But perhaps the main point to take away is this treatment of dissonance. In this example, in this sample answer, the dissonances are always on the second minim of the bar. So always on the weak beat of the bar. And they are always approached and left by step. Here's this D. This D forms a 7th with the bass note. And the note before it is an E, a step away. The note after it is a step away. And the note before it forms a consonance. That's an octave. The note after it forms a 5th, which is also a consonance. And so we've got those rules of dissonance really kind of consistently used across this exercise in those 4 sort of examples of dissonance. One thing that also you should bear in mind is that dissonance tends to be used quite sparingly. A really common mistake when you're approaching a second species exercise or you're practicing second species counterpoint is to try to whack a dissonance into every bar, and that's just not practical. Dissonances are used sparingly. They're used, I think, what have I got, like 4 examples of dissonance across a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 bar exercise. So, in a third of the bars, I've made use of a dissonance of some description. Okay, so there's that sample answer. You might also want to have a go at writing a bottom part. So here's the same exercise. It's the same cantus firmus, but I've just whacked it into the treble clef. And you might want to pause the video here and have a go at writing a bottom part. Something that you'll want to keep in mind here is that intervals are always counted from the bottom note to the top note. So when you're thinking about identifying those dissonant intervals, you'll want to count from the bottom note up to the cantus firmus. You'll count from the note that you're writing up to the given cantus firmus. Okay, pause the video here, have a go at that exercise, and I'll show you a sample answer in a moment. Okay, cool. So here we are. Here's a sample answer. I'll play this through at the piano again, just so you've got an idea of what it sounds like. And then, yes, we'll sort of discuss it. Okay, there you are. Again, not the most exciting music in the world, and there are probably sort of better solutions to that exercise out there. Yeah, if you come up with something that's definitely better than that, let me know. Happy to pop that into a video. The key things here are the fact that we've kind of followed the rules that we are used to in first species counterpoint. We've got no sort of parallel fifths or octaves across this, and we've also got dissonances used quite sparingly but used properly. So dissonances that follow those rules that we set out earlier. Here's a fourth. That fourth is on the weak beat of the bar. It's on the second minim. It is approached and left by step. So the note at the bottom part that forms the dissonance is a D. It's approached via a C, so by a step, and it's left, it leaves by step to an E, and it's sandwiched between two consonances. Oops, that's a fifth. That's an octave, so it's sandwiched between two consonant intervals. Again, we've only got 3 dissonances in there across a 12-bar exercise, so it's not the case that you have to whack a dissonance into every single bar. Okay, so that's broadly speaking what second species counterpoint is all about. If I could leave you with one key thing for you to take from these exercises for now, it's the treatment of dissonance. This treatment of dissonance, where dissonances are in weak places in the bar, are approached and left by step, and are sandwiched between two consonances. Those rules don't just apply to these second species exercises, they apply across a whole load of sort of tonal music, particularly if you're using extended chords. Happy composing, and yeah, see how you get on. Look forward to hearing from you soon. Cheers, bye.